Sunlight beaming forth in the east from the fatherland, bringing tidings of a new world to families in the field. Let us hasten to send the news all throughout the world. Eden's glory spreading forever, the hope of joy and peace. Dawn golden dawn throughout the shining fatherland, tells the tidings of the rising sun that brings us life. Harvest quickly, men of the fields, hasten to harvest now. Crops are ripened and ready to bring into the heavenly barn. Saints and angels and heavenly hosts gather to speed the task. All will share the harvest of joy at the banquet of our Lord. Dawn golden dawn throughout the shining fatherland, tells the tidings of the rising sun that brings us life. When the most of 6,000 years are gone from the Father's heart, sons and daughters shall live with great joy, our true parents' own. Saints and sages and men of good faith, all waited for this day. Loyal men of hope and fidelity yearn to see this day. Dawn golden dawn throughout the shining fatherland, tells the tidings of the rising sun that brings us life.
Okej. Så idag har jag fått äran att presentera predikanten. Lite ord där. Miriam Nylén, så ge en varm applåd upp till scenen.
Tackar. Så, då vet ni vad som händer. Ja, det här är ju väldigt annorlunda från mardrömmen jag hade i natt. Då var det bara Katsuyuki Inari som var här och min familj och jag vet inte, jag kunde inte riktigt se någonting när jag liksom snurrade omkring på scenen. Så det här känns mycket bättre. Kul att ni ville komma och lyssna på lilla mig. Ja. I was thinking I will do the Sunday service in English because I think more people will be able to understand me. Living for the greater good. Last Sunday service I attended was Jan Peter speaking in Humlegården, and he was kind of giving the big perspective of things going on in the world and things that I found really interesting that I really don't have a clue about. And my Sunday service is going to be focused really more on me because so I know what I'm talking about. My goal for this, I was actually inspired by the Sunday service where Katsuki was showing clips of different Sunday services from different people. And I felt really inspired and I thought, you know what, I'm not going to ask Ingmarie to beg me to hold Sunday service because I've been waiting for a really long time. I was like, I'm going to contact her and ask her if if I can hold the Sunday service. And my goal with this Sunday service is that I'm going to share a little bit about my growing experiences, old and new ones, and realizations that I've had, and hoping that you can receive something from that and maybe be inspired in some way, so that you can take something from this Sunday service. Right, we're going to start with goals. So, the divine principle and true Father has given us many great goals that we want to achieve. So for me, for example, the 3 blessings in mind and body unity, and thinking of people as my brothers and sisters, and being able to love anyone and everyone is a goal of mine. Another goal for me is to always try to have a positive impact on any situation that I'm in. And I would like you to take just a couple of minutes and talk to your neighbor about what goals do you have in this church or in this life. And I'm going to ask you about that in a minute. So please talk to your neighbor. All right. So, okay. Thank you. So, does anyone want to share a goal? Somebody, anyone, Ingmarie. You can just tell me.
Well, when I joined, I had the goal to change the world. But then I realized I had to change myself. And of course, but now my goal is more to take care of the community, to like create a happy environment and this kind of goals. Yeah.
All right, so Ingmarie wants to take care of us and take care of the community. That's her current goal.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Yes?
So my goal is I prepare myself for the spirit world now. I'm the age. But before that, I want to become a better person, while living for the sake of others, not being selfish and not having self-pity whatever happens, but always go forward.
All right, so Ingmarie, she's preparing herself for the spirit world. Developing herself to become a better person. All right, I would like to hear from a guy who's younger than 30 years. Yeah.
So I was thinking, my goal is to align my purpose, kind of like with God, Like if you go to school, you have a purpose, it's aligned on preparing God and not something else, like money, whatever. So.
All right, alignment. So, God. have the right motivation in any situation and be focused on God, right? aligning yourself with God. Okay, I want a girl below 30.
I think to create a personal relationship with Heavenly Parent.
To create a personal relationship with Heavenly Parent. And finally, man above 30. No goals. This is really, really bad.
Okay.
Ja.
Dels så välsignar 430, to bless 430 couples and to support and raise the family.
To bless 230 couples and support and raise a family. All right, great. So, also those who didn't say anything, I hope you have some goals you're working towards. And before talking about my experiences, I just wanted to read a little bit about what we have in common, where we're at. We are all struggling to attain happiness and avoid misfortune. But within the self-same individual, there are two opposing inclinations: the original mind, which desires goodness, and the evil mind, which desires wickedness. They are engaged in a fierce battle, striving to accomplish two conflicting purposes. This is the human contradiction. Right. So this is something that I think we all kind of share. But then we all have very unique situations, and we have very unique steps to move towards our very unique goals. And it's really important to be aware of that, because something that is great for someone else and some advice you might get from someone else might not necessarily work for you. And so whatever I'm saying today, I really want you to think how this applies to you in your situation. And for me, a key word in my life is to reflect. Always reflect on information that I'm giving. Always reflect on my own situation. Always reflect on my situation in comparison to my goals. Right, so I've studied to become a teacher, and I've been taught that you have a class of students, but every student is different and unique. And you have to see every student, you have to see every student's situation where they're at, because if you don't know where they are, you really don't know what's the next step for them to reach those goals before they go off to gymnasium eller universitetet. So, and sadly, we don't all have a teacher who's seeing our situation and giving us the next step and giving us the material to work with. We have very few people who know where we're at and can really support and help us. So we really need to take responsibility ourselves and think for ourselves what our next step is. And two words for me that have that are kind of, for me, like a guideline in any situation and anything I do is asking myself, is this productive? Or is this constructive? Or, well, they're not opposite there. Constructive. Is this productive and constructive? As a teenager, I was really negative towards myself. I would punish myself a lot and tell myself very negative things. And I think it's because I didn't feel good enough, or that I wasn't doing good enough, and then through punishing myself, I kind of evened it out. You know, I punished myself, okay, fine, we move on. And when I came back to Sweden 2.5 years ago, I was also thinking very negatively, and I really felt like I was a parasite on society. I didn't have a job, I was just pregnant and tired, and I would watch the mailman in the morning. I was so jealous of him having a job and contributing to society, and I'm just taking naps, and I was really like thinking very negatively until I don't remember exactly when, but I realized that this is not productive, this is not constructive, and I decided no more give and take with that voice. And again, people are different, so you might not be able to just say no thank you when you hear a negative voice in your head, but for me, actually, I could just make that decision and say, no, I don't, I'm not talking to you, I'm not having any give and take with you. And at first I felt a little bit bad about not punishing myself when I should be. But now actually I feel a lot better. We do this, I think we all make mistakes, and we all do stupid things, thoughtless things, and it's very easy to criticize yourself afterwards. I had this pattern of when I did something stupid, I'd punish myself, and then that was it. This is not at all constructive. For me, a much better way I found was that not gonna punish myself at all. I'm gonna reflect. What happened? Why did I do this? Was I thoughtless? Was I angry about something else? What actually happened in this situation? And take responsibility for that situation. So what do I do to make this never happen again? And also, if I was in a fight with someone, to take responsibility. Well, where was I wrong? I can't take responsibility for the other person. We always say that. Always think that, yeah, they did something wrong, you did something wrong, both did something wrong, both need to apologize. That doesn't matter. Wrong, right, whatever. You take responsibility for whatever you did, and you apologize for whatever you realize you didn't do enough. And then whatever the other person did, you really don't have to take responsibility for that, and you really don't have to be angry about that. I've realized that happy people usually don't start arguing. Happy people usually don't start fighting. So when somebody is being aggressive, or if I start fighting with someone else, I start thinking, is it really about this person, or why am I upset right now? And usually I'm scared, or I'm stressed, or I'm hungry. Hungry and tired is not a good combination, I find. And also it's really helpful for me when somebody's really aggressive towards me. What is this all about? Trying to understand what's happening. And I wanted to share a little bit about my relationship with Johannes and Peter, who are not here today, so I can say whatever I want. I found out a bit over a year ago that there's actually a lot of baggage in our relationship that I wasn't aware of. Being the older sister and them being the younger brothers, for them it was kind of an infected situation where they very easily could feel like I was trying to decide and I was trying to be bossy. And I had no idea, and they would just get upset, and I would just think that they're so emotional. I was really shocked to find out that actually, because I was really fine. I didn't have any like resentment. Well, like a little bit resentment, but so I've been really trying to restore our relationship, which has been really realizing many things and teaching me a lot about fights and how to think and act. Me and Johannes, especially living together, it's easier to fight. I'm really happy that I have this opportunity to live with them again, to deal with these issues that I didn't know existed before. And me and Johannes were kind of upset with each other for quite a long time. And then one day, Johannes was being himself, which is a good guy, not to me, but to someone else. And I realized Johannes is a really good guy, and I'm a really good girl, and we do love each other. And I just realized there are some major misunderstandings going on here. So we're completely misunderstanding each other, because otherwise we would not be fighting, we would not be upset with one another. And so I started taking slightly painful steps towards trying to resolve these misunderstandings, because we all really want to be understood. When we have a fight with someone, we really want to explain to the other person why you hurt me like this, and why I feel so upset when you do this, and you want the other person to understand what they did wrong. But I can't expect that from Johannes to just understand me. So I had to take the first steps to try to just understand him. And because of our infected relationship, it was a little bit hard to have those conversations, because he felt like I was trying to maybe accuse him or attack him, or when I brought up certain things that had happened. And but through just keeping this want of understanding him, and just letting go of explaining myself or anything that I felt, and just trying to get to the bottom of how he understood the situation, I felt like we could really have breakthroughs. Also I find that when you make the effort to understand someone else, they are more inclined to understand you. A couple of weeks ago I had this argument with Peter. It wasn't an argument, but something happened, and I was really upset with Peter, and then he was really upset that I was upset with him, because clearly I had no reason to be upset with him. And in the evening time, he came downstairs, and he wanted to talk to me. It's also part of our creating a better relationship. Is something I realized that when I'm upset with someone, something has happened, I don't talk about it then. I calm down, because if you talk about it straight away, you give anger and you will get anger. So I calm down, and then I talk to Johannes or Peter or whoever later, and can we talk about this, what happened, and clear things up, because like I said, usually it's misunderstandings. And so he came, wanted to talk to me, and I was really tired. I really didn't want to have that conversation. And also I think I wanted to punish him, and it felt really good to reject him and say, no, I don't want to talk to you, knowing that he would go to sleep not feeling good. And then Peter said, it doesn't feel good to leave it this way. And I just started crying, and I told him, well, you know how much we love each other, and everything else is just misunderstandings.
Jättebra gjort.
Yeah, so I think very few of you know this, but I cry a lot. Like, you can tell me about ice bears dying somewhere, I'm like, like, I've had to leave classes at university because I'm like, they're learning so well. So I'm a little bit like scared of becoming a teacher and starting to cry in front of my class. But anyways, I started crying because also I realized that I was stressed out about, I was going to start a new work the next day, and Seon was going to go to a new kindergarten, and I was really stressed out and worried about this, and I was putting everything on Peter, which felt really good. It was really unfair, and I kind of realized all of this, and I started crying, and I said, yeah, you know how much we love each other, everything else is just misunderstandings. And then we just hugged, and he apologized for not being more sensitive to my situation, and I apologized for taking out all my emotions on him. And it was a really amazing experience for me to end a fight just like that. And I just wanted to share that with you. Right. And I wanted to talk about some other things as well. Strategy and working proactively. One of the reasons why I wanted to hold a Sunday service was to talk about stuff that I learned in my teacher's education before I forget everything. And one thing is to work förebyggande. That's proactive, right? Förebyggande. Preventive, okay, preventive, sorry. Preventative? Preventive, great. Yeah, I just became an English teacher. Right. Working preventive. In any way and every way possible, it's better to work preventive. So for example, in the case of being a teacher, if you have a new class, one way to work preventive is to have the children get to know one another, to create good relationships so you do not get all the problems and all the groups and cliques and issues that might arise. In the case of having a child, that's just good planning. You know, you have food before he's hungry, you have the book ready when he needs to go to sleep, and just avoiding a lot of difficult situations. In society today, we have so many problems that we're dealing with, just the problems, but we're not looking at the grassroots, which True Father talks about, which is, that's where we should really be starting. And young people, you will only get older, and your bodies will only get worse. And it's really important to have a straight back, because you will all have pain later. And yeah, that's just eating healthy, exercising, that's a way to work preventive, not to become depressed or unhappy. Just we have to be really smart, and we have to prioritize our mental health and our happiness, because without those, happy people don't fight. Happy people don't fight as much as unhealthy people. Right. And so one tip I wanted to give you is to you can trick yourself if you know yourself well enough. I know that I have thresholds, but as soon as I get over that threshold, it's actually really not that difficult. For example, going jogging is really hard to get out the door, but once I get out the door, it's no problem. Doing the dishes for me is no longer a problem since I'm a mom and I do a lot of stuff. But as a teenager, doing the dishes, so hard to decide to help mom, and I know I should help mom, but the dishes, I really don't want to do the dishes. And that was so hard to decide to do the dishes, and when I did the dishes, it really takes 10 minutes, and it's really not that hard. On STF, I had this kind of goal at one workshop that I was going to come 1 hour before lecture started in the morning. And when I would wake up, my brain would tell me, sleep is good, you can focus better. In a lecture, your whole day will be better. You can love people more. You can be a better person if you just get more sleep. It's so important. And it was really hard to motivate myself to go downstairs. So I would trick myself and I would say, you know what, Miriam? You go to the lecture hall, then you can sleep. It's okay. You're going to be there 1 hour before lecture starts. It's fine. Just go downstairs, and then you can sleep. Yeah, I can do that. Okay, my body said, I can do that. Coming downstairs, I wasn't tired anymore. The same with going jogging. Just change your clothes and go outside the door. And then you can just go back in again. It's fine. If you know your thresholds, I don't know if you're like me, but if you know your thresholds, you can actually really trick yourself quite well into doing stuff. One more thing I wanted to talk about is mindset. And this is something I learned from Solveig a long time ago when we were all doing Hundoke at 5 every Sunday morning. Mom would wake us up until we woke up. And sometimes I would be in Stockholm, staying at the Futures or staying at the Passions. But at the Passions, you got woken up once, and if you didn't wake up, you lived with the shame. And I was really ashamed. I woke up much later. Everything was over, and I hadn't attended pledge. And I was talking to Sylvia about it, and I was like, you can't just wake up straight away. And she said, well, you set your mind to wake up, then you wake up. And I was like, wow. I never even thought of that. I can have these really at university, I had this realization that if I do my homework, I'm prepared for class. I can answer questions. And I was like, I have this realization when I'm at university. Wow. So it's a little bit late. But so for me, that was kind of a really turning point, because there was a tool that I didn't know existed that she had given to me. And I remember at this workshop in Kloten, I was setting my mind to waking up in the morning, so in the evening time, like as soon as they're gonna call for us to wake up, I'm gonna wake up over and over again. So I was really trying to set my mind. And in the morning time, Patrick was the one to wake us up, and I think he had come as far as sister, and I was sitting up in my sleeping bag. And I was like, yeah, wow. This is a really cool tool. It works in so many ways. I really don't enjoy doing paperwork or things that applying for föräldrapenning or things that I should do that I don't really know how to do, and I can make it a really tough situation for myself. Or I found that I can make it a really exciting situation because I've never done this before, and oh my god, I could learn so much, and I can't wait until it's 9 o'clock tomorrow and I can call them and ask what I'm supposed to do, and can really manipulate your own mind. So I think. Oh yeah, okay, so one last thing that I want to share with you is that when I find myself in different situations, apart from always asking myself, is my behavior productive and constructive, I try to set a goal. For example, if I'm in an argument with someone or talking to someone, what is my goal with this conversation? Is it to get to know this person? Is it to have a good time? Do I want to tell them about something? And I think in our lives, if we always keep our goals present, the big goals and the small goals that will lead us to the big goals is the key to actually taking those steps forward. And I hope that I'm not too wildly different from you, so that you could actually take something away from this. And I hope that we can all take those baby steps together in every situation. Thank you so much.